Okay, so getting back to it, we just need to understand that no purpose is singular. That our purpose is to, as we said, serve others, serve the community, create a better society, identify, the gifts and dreams of a person and help those people fulfill it. So, you can be a professor, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be a truck driver. Your purpose is what's in you, what you were created for. It's not task orientated, but it is, like we said earlier, whatever you desire to do, what you go to bed thinking about, what you wake up and you can't wait to do it.
Yeah,
Those are things.
I think one of the things is you don't want to measure. My purpose isn't significant enough, or my purpose, what I'm desiring, isn't making sense because man, it's not way up there in the standard of in the
Yeah.
eyes of man. No, you have a desire in your heart, and don't let someone or something squash that desire. What you need to do is move forward in that desire, but don't go off the track of the principles of God. What we have to remember is that we need others to help fulfill our purpose, but we need to surround ourselves with people that will allow us to go to that higher level. There was a saying once by Miles Monroe. He said, when you're the smartest guy in the group, get a new group. And I can understand that. There's times where your friends or even your family will hold you down from actually fulfilling your purpose. But what we have to remember
No, we're not talking your wife. We're talking family members.
Yeah. What we have to remember is continue to stay humble as we've never are successful on our own. So even like Lewis was just saying, spouse-wise, if I have a purpose that I feel is my purpose, and you can share it with your husband, and he, as a godly man, needs to know how he comes along to help you to get to your purpose, and vice versa. That's why, God said we need a helpmate. And because we can help each other to reach our purpose. And, I want people to realize women that stay home and raise their kids, don't think, oh, am I doing my purpose? That's a beautiful purpose. We've actually lost that.
That's right.
If we have God in our life and we're enjoying what we are doing and we're making a difference, you're probably in your purpose.
Yeah. I remember when we were ministering in Germany a few years back, and we were talking to a pastor who was ready to quit the church because he was being burnt out by all the things that needed to be done. And I, through talking to an interpreter, I said, if this church was called to feed the community, it's not that the pastor has to do all the work. What he has to do is identify who's been given that gift, not even to collect the food, but to disperse it. If you have a call in your life, if you identify what it is, you'll be surprised how many people will want to help you, come alongside, lift, edify, build you. Mm-hmm. That's why we belong to a church of believers, so that one another we can help each other.
Yeah, so that comes with like even experience. If you want to become something, if something's a burning desire, then you need to surround yourself with that. Experience is given not to determine the limits of our lives, but to create a better life for us. Experience is a tool to be used. So get yourself around people with experience if you're trying to learn something or trying to even identify your gift in an area. Start moving ahead, allowing God to be the center of your world, and people will help. People with experience will help even with the directing.
So when we talk about experience, there's three ways you'll get information. And the first way is through education. So education is probably one of the greatest ways to get information, okay? But the second way would be through experience. The third way is through the infinite wisdom of God. And the Bible tells us to pray. In fact, it says that if we pray where two or more agree in touch and pray, that they'll be given anything. That doesn't happen like a miracle. That happens, great ideas are born through that infinite wisdom from God. So what we're talking about here on the experience is that you don't have to actually experience the task you were given in order to become it. But often what will happen is we'll grow into it. We'll get better.
And you don't want to let the past experiences limit your capacity.
That's
You know, we
right.
must be grateful for all the lessons of the past and then continue with confidence onto that next phase, being careful to the signs that have been established by our Creator. You know, sometimes we get off the track, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong purpose. We got off the track. All things are possible if you believe. And in Mark 9:23, he says that, you know,
Yeah.
and we have to remember that. Believe it, keep God first in your life, and start going forward into it. Refine your gift through whatever you need to do. Surround yourself with the right people, and also to be educated.
Yeah.
Those are strong principles. Yeah.
So, I just want to share with you real quickly. When we talk about, the Bible talks about being from glory to glory. And when when Paul was talking about that, he wasn't talking about the Shekinah glory that Moses had when he was on the mountain. What he was talking about was just what we're saying here. So let's say you want to be a carpenter, and so you go to school even, and you say, I'm going to be a carpenter, so I go to school. I apprentice, and I do my first, second, third year, fourth year. I become a journeyman carpenter. That's one glory. The next thing is that you would experience, work in that field take more upgrading, more learning, and you become a master. A master is usually someone who has 20 years, 10,000 hours.
And then you're mentoring.
Now you take on to the next step where you are starting to mentor others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that you realize that your purpose may not have been to go through all those experiences. It may be to become that person who teaches others. You may be gifted at teaching others in this field. It's instrumental that we don't get stuck on our experience.
Yeah. You know, there's those three vital principles, Lewis, that you and I always say are so essential, and they'll take you to your purpose and stay on purpose. Those three words are passion, plan, and process. These principles must never go out of line of the natural law. Mm-hmm. Again, we say that the number one law of purpose is principles. So we must continue to have God's standard as our measuring stick as we make the choices to fulfill our purpose. So those three principles: passion, plan, and process.
So we've been talking about this the whole time. What we want to do is finish up with understanding the process.
Yeah, actually, the three principles.
Yes.